Hi, everyone. This is kind of like a little mini class for cards that I'm doing for one of the new suites in the annual catalog. It's the Bloom Where You're Planted. Beautiful set of stamps and coordinating dies. Lots of little sentiments that are perfect for thank yous, showing gratefulness, or even to a friend. You can make that like birthday, anything like that, or change it up and use another stamp set for birthday or congratulations, anything like that, along with the plants. The one thing I really like about this set is that even the dies by themselves without the stamp set look fabulous. Of course, using the stamp with the die does give some more detail, but you would know that this is like, I can show you when I take out the pieces out of my kit here in front of me. But basically that the leaves look like leaves without that additional stamp, which is fabulous, especially since so many of us are stamping from a distance. So let's get started here. We're going to start with this one. I can show you the dies before we get started here as well. So you can see here you have very clearly like the macrame, pots, leaves, etc. So this is the soft sea foam, and it's a regular A2 size card. So I have just taken a piece of 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and cut it down the middle at 5.5 inches and then folded it in half. I have here with me a piece of the designer paper from the Bloom as You Bloom Where You're Planted suites. So it's the Bloom Where You're Planted designer series paper. So I just took this and I did just adhere this with regular Stampin' Seal. Just put a couple of strips there along the back. And then just adhered it along that folded edge, right along the left-hand side. Now, I also took, so this, it looks kind of like an oversized poster stamp, but it has like little stitch edging. And this is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies from the annual catalog. I did use the thank you from the Plentiful Plants stamp set. I stamped that with just a thank you at the top. Then I had a little brick piece of the designer series paper from the that Plentiful Plant set that I adhered to the bottom. Now, if you're wondering about the size, this one was actually easier if you measured in centimeters. So it was 6.25 centimeters by 2 centimeters. And it just fits just between those stitched lines. From there, now I have the plant cut out in soft succulent, and I actually, to give it a little bit more contrast, I actually used Just Jade ink color. Now, as you can see, that looks fabulous just on its own. So if you don't have the stamp set, but you happen to have the dies or a set of die cuts, it looks fabulous. If you do have the stamp set, then you can ink it up. So I stamped that. Same thing with the little pot. Looks fabulous on its own. It's cut out of Evening Evergreen. So soft succulent and Evening Evergreen are two of the in colors this year, but because I happen to have the stamp set, I find that when you stamp it, it just gives it a little bit, it's kind of hard to tell on the screen, like shaded definition on this one side. It's such a dark color, so it's very subtle. Again, I think it's something that's totally personal preference, and especially sometimes you're just trying to get a card really quick with less steps, then it looks fabulous without any ink at all, just cutting it out. So I have some dimensionals here. Now I kind of saw a neat trick from my class that I took online, and basically she just flipped over that leaf and then attached it where she wanted it to go with a little dimensional, and it holds it in place, and you can just stick it onto your project. So I'm going to stick that one there, and then I have some mini dimensionals. Of course, they always disappear off of your workspace the minute that you turn on your video camera. If I can't find them, I'm just going to cut a few edges of dimensional pieces and just stick a little bit on the leaves like that. I'm going to stick that on my little brick pattern there. Put dimensionals all over the back. I love this card because it was so pretty, so cute, and really fast to pull together. And sometimes we all need one that doesn't have 50 steps, but still looks fabulous. And then these are super cute. They are the loose flower flourishes from the catalog. And they're in the in colors. So the Flirty Flamingo, and I can never remember the purple one. So it's kind of like all in colors, right? And then I just glued that little flower on with a glue dot. And I kind of put mine just in the corner there. I guess I did on that side on that one, on this side on this one. And there you go. Super cute. Thank you, card. And like, as you can see, you could easily, there's lots of room, change out your sentiment and make it birthday, could be sympathy, congratulations. I had someone that did a housewarming gift card the other night when we were crafting together. And I think that's fabulous to do it as like a housewarming gift card. Okay, the second card we're going to do is this one. So again, it's using the Plentiful Plant stamp set and coordinating dies. This one, isn't the macrame cute? Macrame is coming back in. I don't have any macrame in my house, but I do like it in the cards. So let me just grab. Of course, I thought I set a kit in front of myself. It's hiding under my catalog. Okay, so this one, the back cardstock is the gray granite. I'm going to fold this in half. Now, this piece here, I actually used the embossing folder, the 3D macrame embossing folder to do that. Size-wise, it is 9.5 centimeters by 6.5 centimeters. The piece of green cardstock is 10 centimeters by 7 centimeters. And then the little Brick Designer Series paper is 9.5 centimeters by 2.5 centimeters. So I'm just going to use and the card is just, again, this half piece of cardstock, a little bit of adhesive there. Now, if you do use this one, there's kind of a raised surface on this side, and then the macrame is kind of depressed on this side. So I'm going to use the raised side. I'm going to place my brick DSP on that one side. I'm going to take my little pot. Now the pot is cut out of soft suede, and I have soft suede ink again here. And as you can see, the pot looks fabulous on its own. If you happen to have the stamp set, putting a little bit of ink there just gives it a little bit of shading, but it's not necessary. Other thing I really like, succulents are so popular right now, and I really like these little succulents that come there. Same die, just cut out in 2 different colors. So same thing, I'm just going to take and flip this around. Should I take it back? I'm going to step back. I'm going to glue this on first. So I'm going to get out I'm just using Tombow glue, and I'm just going to gently put a couple of dots of glue in the bottom couple corners. Now don't put it too high because you don't want to put glue beyond where your pot is going to cover. And see, even though my stamping wasn't perfect, it's totally going to be hidden by the macrame. Okay, so like that. Then I'm going to take and put these 2 little succulent pieces on the back. And again, I'm going to grab my dimensionals. I'm going to do the dimensional trick to hold those in place. Plus creating dimensional. Now, if it's one of those things where you like to adjust things, then you could always just put a little bit of a glue dot in the front, on the front of the succulent, and attach it to the pot. So totally up to you which way you want to do it. From there, I'm going to attach this to my white part of my macrame, leaving a little bit of space at the top, because from there, I'm going to loop my linen thread. This is from the annual catalog as well, through the hole. Flip it over. And then I'm going to put adhesive on all 4 edges. Now, the reason I'm going to put on all 4 edges is that I'm going to take that linen thread. Oops, there's a dimensional piece. And I'm going to stick it around the back like that. And then from there, stick it onto my green piece of cardstock. Okay. Then I have a piece of just white cardstock. It is 4 inches by 5.25 inches. I have my garden green ink pad, and this is one of the leaf stamps in the kit. Again, you don't need to use this particular leaf stamp. Again, if you had die cuts, but no stamp set, then pull out a floral stamp that you have in your stash. Or it could be left blank, or you could throw it through your Big Boss with an embossing folder. But I think giving it a little bit of ink just gives it a bit more dimension. Okay, so I'm going to stamp that. as well as while I have out my ink, I'm going to stamp. I have a little white piece of paper that I'm just going to, there's a stamp in here that says a little note with the biggest thanks. And I'm just going to like ink up the top part of that. Stamp it. Let's try it again. Okay. Again, birthday card, thank you card, congratulations. Welcome to your new home. It kind of fits the bill in all of those realms. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for a couple of seconds. This one is now dry. So I'm going to take and put adhesive on the back of my white cardstock. Pop that onto the front of my gray granite base. Grab some dimensionals, and I'm going to put this fabulous plant with a macrame on the front. Macrame is everywhere. I was in Winners and Marshalls the other day, and there's macrame decor for your house everywhere. So super, super trendy. Put that there, and then I'm going to grab a little note, and I'm just going to chop it. See, it's like we've created a whole nother stamp in the set, right? Because now you've taken something that could be a longer sentiment, made it shorter, and no one knows, but it fits perfectly for this card. So I'm going to pop a little note right there with some dimensionals underneath it. Now, just because I always like to do this, I'm going to pop a second white sheet of paper inside. What I really like about these cards that say a little note on the outside is that then you can put it into your card stash. And if you have a birthday, a little note, happy birthday inside, a little note, thank you inside. It can be anything that you want it or need it to be. So those are 2 quick cards. I just wanted to pop on and share those with you tonight. Happy card making and have a wonderful week.